Breaking news! The Chicago Bears offense is changing fast, and it's not just a small tweak, it's a complete transformation under new offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. But what's really catching everyone's attention is how he's using rookie Rome Odunze. Is he about to become Chicago's true number one wide receiver? And what does this mean for DJ Moore's role? You won't want to miss this deep dive. Bears Report begins. The Chicago Bears offense under Ben Johnson is already looking very different from what we saw during his time with the Detroit Lions. And there's a good reason for that. He has weapons now that Detroit never had. One of the biggest game changers, Rome Odunze. This rookie wide receiver is turning heads in training camp. Ben Johnson is already using him in a way that clearly shows just how much he trusts Rome's talent. Johnson never had a receiver like this in Detroit, and now he's building plays around him. Before we get into the full breakdown of Odunze's role and how this offense is being reshaped, take a quick second. If you're a true Bears fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss a major update. Now let's get back to the latest Bears news. Johnson recently spoke about what he sees in Rome Odunze. According to him, Rome is the kind of wide receiver who can win one-on-one battles all day long. Whether it's slants, stop routes, or deep go routes, Odunze runs them all with precision. What really impressed Johnson was Rome's ability to make sharp cuts while still using his size and strength to win contested catches. That's not something you see every day, especially from a rookie. Ben Johnson described him as a prototypical X-receiver. That means he's the main wideout lined up on the outside, often isolated against defenders. Think of the big-name stars who take over games from that position. Johnson clearly sees that kind of potential in Odunze. This has sparked a debate. Is Odunze already becoming the Bears' top receiver? Some fans and analysts believe so, especially after watching how Johnson is does. We'll talk more about DJ Moore and his unique role in just a moment. But one thing is becoming very clear, this instead. How Ben Johnson's offense in Chicago looks completely different. Ben Johnson's offense in Chicago already looks nothing like what he ran in Detroit. And the biggest reason, he's got a true difference maker in Rome Odunze. Back in Detroit, Johnson didn't have a wide receiver with the same mix of size, sharp route running, and football IQ that Odunze brings to the table. Sure, the Lions had talent, but they didn't have this. Let's break it down. In Detroit's two wide receiver sets, Jameson Williams usually lined up as the X-receiver, basically the top outside guy. Meanwhile, Amon-Ra St. Brown worked in the Z role, playing off the line and moving around more freely. Jameson brought speed, no doubt, but he wasn't known for his precise routes. His job was to go deep and stretch defenses, not run the full route tree. Now compare that to what Johnson has with Rome Odunze in Chicago. Rome isn't just fast, he's skilled. He can break down a defender with sharp footwork, stop on a dime, cut inside or outside, and win one-on-one battles in almost any situation. He's not a guy you rotate in occasionally. He's the main target, the go-to weapon in Johnson's new playbook. In Detroit, when the Lions used three wide receiver formations, they'd often slide Jameson Williams into the Z spot and bring in someone like Tim Patrick to play that X-receiver role. But let's be honest, Tim Patrick was never the type of player to carry an offense. He was solid, not special. Now imagine this. In Chicago, Rome Odunze is doing what Tim Patrick was meant to do, but on a whole other level. No more relying on just good enough players. Ben Johnson now is an elite receiver who's already earning WR1 looks in training camp. Even in two wide receiver sets, Rome is the top choice at the X spot. Meanwhile, DJ Moore takes on that Z role, a guy who can line up inside or outside and keep defenses guessing. And yes, Luther Burden will get involved too, adding another layer of speed and agility to the mix. This is a completely new setup for Johnson. In Detroit, he often had to adjust to fit his players. In Chicago, now he gets to build his ideal offense from scratch with weapons that actually match his vision. And don't forget the tight end room. Detroit had talent there, but the Bears' combination of Cole Kmet and rookie Colston Loveland might already be better. Loveland has quickly impressed coaches and is giving Johnson even more flexibility with his formations. The bottom line is this. The Bears aren't trying to copy the Lions. This is not a watered-down version of Detroit's offense. Ben Johnson finally has the freedom to create, and with Odunze, Moore, Loveland, and others stepping up, he has the tools to turn this Chicago offense into something dangerous. The Bears' tight end duo could be a game changer. When you look at what Ben Johnson is building in Chicago, there's another major piece beyond the wide receivers, the tight ends. And this time, he has something he never had in Detroit, a legit 1-2 punch. Let's talk about it. Sure, Sam Laporta was excellent for the Lions, but in Chicago, Ben Johnson now has two tight ends that bring a completely different level of flexibility. Cole Kmet brings the toughness and reliability, while rookie Colston Loveland brings speed, athleticism, and big play potential. You could argue that Laporta is better than either one individually, but together, Kmet and Loveland could offer more than what Laporta and his backup ever did. And that matters a lot. In Detroit, after Laporta, it was Brock Wright, a solid blocker, but not someone you build an offense around. In Chicago, Johnson doesn't have to rely on just one guy anymore. He has two legitimate options, both capable of making big plays. But what's really exciting? Colston Loveland's rapid rise. Despite missing time in the offseason, Loveland came into camp looking ready like he never skipped a beat. He's been turning heads with acrobatic catches, smooth route running, and that rare mix of size and speed that tight ends usually don't have. This guy isn't just catching short passes, he's stretching the field. Loveland looks like a future star. He's fast, physical, and confident. He's even brushing off any concerns about his shoulder injury, telling reporters it feels great and isn't affecting his game at all. And more importantly, it shows he's taking hits, blocking hard, and staying aggressive. But perhaps the most impressive part, what he did while injured. Ben Johnson revealed recently how blown away he was by Loveland's dedication off the field. While recovering, Loveland was still in the building constantly, watching film, asking questions, staying involved. Johnson said he hadn't seen a rookie that committed behind the scenes in a long time. And now that Loveland's healthy, that hard work is showing up on the field. Make no mistake, Cole Kmet is still going to be heavily involved. He's reliable, strong in the run game, and has built great chemistry with his quarterbacks. But with Loveland now entering the picture, Johnson suddenly has more options in his playbook, more formations, more mismatches, more ways to attack. This isn't about replacing Kmet, it's about adding something he can't do alone. Why Chicago's tight end duo is a nightmare for defenses. Ben Johnson already knew Colston Loveland had special potential. He said so before Loveland even stepped onto the field. But now that the rookie is finally out there and practicing at full speed, Johnson's excitement has exploded. Loveland's natural instincts are showing up instantly. There was one moment in practice that stood out. He read a spin move from a defensive end before it even happened and shut it down with perfect technique. That kind of anticipation doesn't come easy, especially for a rookie who missed time with an injury. But Loveland isn't playing like someone trying to catch up. He's playing like someone who belongs. And that's exactly what has the Bears coaching staff buzzing. Loveland isn't just catching passes, he's moving like a true top 10 pick. Fast, fluid, fearless. He's already doing the dirty work too, blocking, absorbing contact, and making impact plays at every level of the field. But here's the twist. Unlike Sam Laporta in Detroit, Loveland won't be the lone focus at tight end. Cole Kmet is still very much in the picture, and while Laporta was the clear-cut number one tight end in Detroit with backup Brock Wright barely involved, Chicago's offense is built differently. Loveland and Kmet will share the spotlight, and that's exactly what makes this setup so dangerous. Let's put this into perspective. Last season, Detroit's second tight end Brock Wright had just 13 catches across a full year. He was mostly used as a blocker. If he caught a pass, it was usually a short check down. Nobody feared him in the passing game. That's not the case with Kmet. Kmet is a legitimate receiving threat, someone who can break tackles, run advanced routes, and stretch the field more than a traditional blocking tight end ever could. Defenses won't be able to ignore him, and if they try, he'll make them pay. So now picture this. You've got two tight ends, one fast and explosive Loveland, the other powerful and consistent Kmet. They can both run routes, both block, and both make plays after the catch. That means Ben Johnson can line them up in 12 personnel, two tight ends, two receivers, one running back, and the defense won't know what's coming. Is it a run? Is it play action? Are both tight ends staying into block or slipping out into routes? That kind of uncertainty puts enormous pressure on defenders. In Detroit, if Brock Wright ran a route, defenses didn't panic. They figured, we'll give him space, and if he catches it, fine, we'll tackle him right away. But with Kmet, It's a different story. He can lower the shoulder and pick up extra yards. He can run deeper routes that challenge linebackers and safeties. And Loveland, he's only just getting started. He may not post rookie numbers like Laporta did right away, but the talent is there. The difference is in the role, not the ability. Together, Loveland and Kmet offer a dynamic combination that Ben Johnson didn't have in Detroit. And because of that, the Bears' offense won't just look different, it could look better.
Chicago's new offensive core is taking shape, and it's dangerous. The Chicago Bears are building something new, something far more versatile than anything we've seen in years. And at the heart of it all, a group of 4 playmakers that could become one of the most exciting cores in the entire NFC. So, who are they? DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet. These 4 players are expected to be the engine of Ben Johnson's new offense. And here's what's wild. 2 of them bring skills Ben Johnson never had in Detroit. Odunze is a totally different breed of receiver than Johnson ever worked with. He's big, he's fluid, and he runs routes like a veteran. Meanwhile, Kmet gives Johnson something he's never had at tight end, a player who can block and be a serious threat as a pass catcher. So what happens when half of your top 4 weapons offer things your old offense couldn't? It means the whole system changes, and in this case, it might evolve for the better. And don't forget who's still in the mix: Luther Burden, D'Andre Swift, and even Olamide Zaccoz. Each one brings something unique, but right now it's that top 4 that's shaping the Bears' identity. Still, the big question remains: what will DJ Moore's role look like under Ben Johnson? Some believe he'll be Chicago's version of Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Lions' offense. But don't expect a copy-paste. This isn't a one-to-one transition. Yes, Moore will work inside at times, but this is a new playbook tailored to Chicago's weapons, not Detroit's leftovers. In fact, Ben Johnson is already experimenting with Moore in an unexpected way. He's lining him up in the backfield. That's right, during Bears training camp, DJ Moore has been seen lining up as a running back. It's not something completely unheard of. He did it last year too, occasionally, but Johnson is clearly looking for ways to get the ball into his hands from different angles. But here's the reality: this isn't about turning Moore into a full-time gadget player. It's more about giving defenses something extra to think about. You line DJ up behind the quarterback, suddenly the defense is on high alert. Is it a handoff? A quick swing pass? A motion into the slot? It creates uncertainty, and in the NFL, that's everything. Johnson's goal is simple: find creative ways to put the ball in the hands of his best playmakers. And putting Moore in the backfield occasionally is just another layer, something to confuse defenses and create better matchups. The bigger picture here is clear. Ben Johnson isn't recycling ideas from Detroit. He's building a new system around the talent he has now. And with Moore, Odunze, Loveland, and Kmet leading the way, Chicago's offense is finally starting to look like a problem for everyone else. Ben Johnson is cooking up something different with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, and it's starting to catch everyone's attention at Bears camp. When asked why he's experimenting with putting DJ and Cole in the backfield, Ben kept it simple. DJ Moore is the kind of player who just needs the ball in his hands. Whether it's a screen pass, a deep route, or even taking a handoff, Moore has that physical, explosive style that turns short gains into big plays. This approach reminds many of how Ben used Amon-Ra St. Brown back in Detroit. Amon-Ra wasn't just a traditional receiver, he was a weapon who could line up almost anywhere and make things happen. And while there are some clear comparisons, Ben isn't copying and pasting his old playbook. In fact, he's not trying to force DJ Moore into an Amon-Ra style role. Why? Because this Bears roster is built differently. Chicago's talent brings its own flavor. Take Luther Burden, for example. He might actually be a better natural fit for that kind of role, the quick cutting, after-the-catch style guy. But he's still learning, and with missed practices and growing pains, he might not be ready to take on that kind of responsibility just yet. Plus, there's something important to remember here. Ben Johnson didn't succeed in Detroit because he used players a certain way. He succeeded because he used players the way they worked best. Back then, he had a speedy deep threat like Jameson Williams and a tough yards-after-catch receiver like Amon-Ra. So he tailored the system to fit them. Now, in Chicago, the cast is different, and so is the plan. Roman Wilson Adun, for instance, looks more like a true number one wide receiver, the kind who wins with clean routes and strength rather than just speed. That's not the same as a Jameson Williams type who stretches the field every play. And while Luther Burden might grow into that deep threat role, that's not what he was doing in college either. So once again, Ben is adjusting to his players, not the other way around. Here's something else worth noting. Even though the idea of putting DJ Moore in the backfield sounds exciting, it's probably not going to be a big part of the offense. Last year in Detroit, Amon-Ra lined up in the backfield just 1% of the time, about 14 plays across the whole season. That's roughly the same as DJ Moore's usage in the Bears' offense last year. So while it might look like a big change during training camp, don't expect DJ to suddenly become a running back or full-time gadget player. Instead, the focus seems to be on versatility. Moore played most of last season, about 77% of the time, out wide. He was in the slot only 21% of the time. By comparison, Amon-Ra St. Brown lined up in the slot nearly twice as much as Moore did. So if Ben Johnson really wanted to, he could just shift Moore inside more often and recreate that Amon-Ra role almost exactly. But there's a twist. Because now you've got Luther Burden, a rookie with serious speed and playmaking ability, sitting right there, waiting for his moment. He was a second-round pick for a reason. And if he starts showing flashes of readiness, Johnson might find himself with two versatile weapons who can both line up in the slot, go in motion, or even take a handoff. So in the end, it's not about turning DJ Moore into someone else. It's about unlocking what makes this offense special, building around the strengths of guys like Moore, Burden, Aduns, and Kmet. And make no mistake, that's how this Bears offense could look completely different and far more dangerous than anything we've seen in recent years. At Missouri, Luther Burden made it clear where he feels most at home, lining up in the slot. Last season, he played there nearly 86% of the time, and the year before wasn't much different. Even more interesting, he lined up in the backfield about 3% of the time, which is much more than what we saw from DJ Moore or even Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit. So if you're looking for someone in this Bears offense to naturally take over that flexible slot and sometimes backfield role, Burden seems like the perfect fit. It's what he's been doing all along. That makes it tempting to imagine DJ Moore and Romo Duns as the main outside receivers and Burden as the inside playmaker, similar to how Detroit used Amon-Ra. Sounds like a perfect plan, right? But here's the catch. Burden hasn't been fully active in practice. He's missed time due to injury, and learning a new offense at the NFL level is already a huge challenge. Asking a rookie to handle the slot, the outside, and even some backfield snaps right away might be too much, too fast. That's where things get complicated. Burden shows flashes of the same quick twitch explosion and speed that can threaten deep, maybe not quite like Jameson Williams in Detroit, but enough to stretch defenses. Physically, he's built more like DJ Moore than a tall, lanky, deep threat. He's compact, strong, and explosive, just like Moore. But here's the thing, neither Moore nor Burden fits perfectly into the exact roles we saw with the Lions. It's like each of them has half the puzzle, but neither is the complete piece. If you could combine their skills into one player, you might get something close to Amon-Ra, but that's not reality. And Ben Johnson knows that. He's not here to copy-paste the Detroit system onto Chicago. Instead, he'll build around what his players do best. That's why we'll probably see DJ Moore move around a lot more this season. Not just stuck on the outside, he'll likely spend more time in the slot and be used creatively to make plays from different spots on the field. So while Romo Duns might play the role that looks like the classic number one receiver lined up outside, Moore will still be the guy who touches the ball the most. He'll be the Bears' go-to weapon, the one who moves the chains, makes clutch catches, and racks up targets week after week. In the end, this Bears offense won't be an exact copy of Detroit's, but it will carry pieces of it, shaped around Chicago's unique talent. And as the season unfolds, we'll get a better picture of how it all fits together.